Good afternoon, people of YouTube. It's your buddy Chop and On coming at you with another episode of Chop Talk, brought to you by the one, the only DFSArmy.com, your one-stop shop for everything DFS, from tools and coaching to content and optimizers. We have it all. Follow the link in the comments section down here below to become a VIP today. And I'm going to urge you again, do it before prices go up. Some of you have jumped. You'll be very happy. We're working on our NFL content, getting it ready to rock and roll. And to be quite honest with you, the prices are not going to stay as low as they are forever. But if you jump today, you will lock in. Your prices will not go up when everybody else's do. Use the code CHOP, C-H-O-P, for an additional 10% discount because, after all, friends don't let friends pay retail. So let's dive in today to Chop Talk. Let's talk a little bit about tonight's main slate. Hopefully you followed the video on the early slate and you understood the process. You got to see it, because what we're going to do is we're going to repeat it again. It's really simple, and it's a way to give you something that you can latch onto as a foundation. As you grow as a player, you'll branch out, you'll learn more, you'll do a couple of different things, dive deeper into some areas and not in others, and that's just the way you're going to evolve as a player. But my job is to make sure that everybody gets fundamentally off to a good start. So I start in our research station. I start with the starting pitchers matchups, and I'm always going to try and find the best pitcher on the slate first. Slates, whether they're 4 games or 10 games or, heck, 50 games, it doesn't matter. You're a slave to what the slate gives you. Sometimes it gives you a bunch of, just schmucks, and sometimes it gives you a lot of aces, and you still have to decipher between who's the best. When you get undecided, it's very easy to maybe make 2 or 3 lineups and mix and match. I do that a lot. I start treating my player portfolio as more of a mutual fund than an individual stock. I don't go crazy splitting hairs over Max Scherzer or Jacob deGrom or whatever. I just want to run a lineup of each, because the way I see it, baseball's volatile enough, and as the slate or as the game unfolds, then I'm going to have some misses, then I'm going to have some wins, and I'm going to have some good players, and I'm going to have some duds. And the more I mix and match a few different lineups and keep them sort of cheap, the better chances I have at returning something big, because baseball itself is going to propel that score up into the 150s, 180s, 200s, and whatnot. And there's no way anybody really knows what their lineup is going to do on a given night. So take a few shots, keep them inexpensive, and give yourself a better chance at hitting something real, something that will actually win, something decent, other than maybe a 50-50 or a double up. Because I will contend there isn't a person out here that can prove to me definitively that they hit 60% of their double ups. It does not exist. Baseball's volatility will take care of that. Anyone telling you that, probably lying to you for your money. Now, starting pitcher wise, when we look at the Skaggs, is going to be the overwhelming chalk tonight, or should be, on this 4-game slate. Charlie Morton's in Coors. David Price has weather concerns. John Gray also in Coors with weather concerns. Edwin Jackson's Dylan Bundy, James Shields, Martin Perez, not that good of pitchers. Now, some of them might shine tonight, but it's not worth taking the chance, in my opinion, and really diving in. The reason why I say that, if we go into Chop Talk and we take a look, is it's all about the salary, the Vegas odds, and the K score. Now, if I look at the DFS Army grade, and I trust our matchup parameters a lot, that 91 speaks to me. Skaggs, and he doesn't have any weather concerns. He's got a minus 230 out of Vegas, and he's got a 506 K score. I look for over 500. I'd prefer a 544. But look what I give up. I give up that Vegas security of a stronger favorite, and I'm also in Coors Field with weather concerns. Same price. This makes a difference for me. I'll give up the K score. I love chasing K score, but I'll give it up when the Vegas odds are different. So Skaggs is over, is going to be over Morton. You might look at a David Price if you want to be a little contrarian, because baseball really rewards the contrarian anyway, and you want to run a stack against Skaggs because, strange things happen, then you'll be all alone. You might take a David Price, somebody in that scenario. But generally speaking, if I ran out 10 lineups tonight, Skaggs is going to be in 8, 9, maybe even 10 of them, because he's that strong of a pitcher on a slate like tonight to get you the safest shot at 30 to 40 points. That's just the way I'm going to look at it. It's just the way I'm going to attack it. I don't spend too much time nitpicking over who's the better pitcher on these slates when it comes to one that really stands out above everybody else. I wrote them up for you if you want to learn and read about it, whatever, follow me along, it's fine. Looking at the bottom pitchers, again, these are not terrible. What I typically do is I go over to the DFS Army grade, and I look at the weak pitchers on the slate. I look for under a 40 usually. I enjoy attacking. these are not pitchers that I'm really all that hip to attack. I mean, Edwin Jackson, Dylan Bundy, and James Shields are not exactly ace pitchers, but they're not exactly pitchers that are just complete gas cans either. Martin Perez is. So Oakland's going to be a very chalky offense tonight as a result in that matchup. But LA, Boston, Texas, those are good numbers. Let me show you what I meant earlier today when I told you double blue. When we're starting to look for offenses that are high implied run totals and are facing pitchers that have hard times getting both sides of the plate out. If you're going to play Oakland tonight, I'd stick to right-handed bats if possible. Now, if a left-handed bat is running hot, and we'll show you that later, then that's fine, take him. But generally speaking, I'm going to favor right-handed bats over lefties. They hit 428 against Martin Perez, and the lefties hit 289. So obviously, you'd want your better odds are with your right-handed bats. I'm going to jump down here to LA and look at the double blue again. James Shields struggles against both sides of the plate. It's not like Edwin Jackson really handles right-handers well, but he handles them okay. So these are my offenses: Texas, LA, Oakland, a little bit of Houston, although Houston, John Gray's a pretty good pitcher. We'll give him credit for that. Looking at Boston, Dylan Bundy has trouble with lefties, is okay against righties. This is how we're going to read that chart. I'm looking for, when I'm going through a big slate, like I'll look for Arizona, I'll look at LA, I'll look at Milwaukee, I'll look at San Francisco. And I know I'm mixing and matching slates here, but I'm trying to prove the point of how I spot these offenses, and these are just typically what I target. It stands to reason that somebody struggling with both sides of the plate is going to have, if he doesn't get lefties out, he doesn't get righties out, that lineup has the potential to flip over and over and over and over again. It's not like you run three right-handers up there in a row and you go to 1, 2, 3 inning, you turn around, you have trouble with a lefty, and then here comes another righty, and that offense can't really get anything going. When a pitcher doesn't handle either side of the plate well, those offenses can really get going, and that's your key to 6, 7, 8 runs sometimes. And those are the offenses we want to stack. Now, what we want to do is we want to take these offenses that I had written up in chin music: Oakland, Texas, LA, and Houston, and I want to search in the research station, go into the trends tab, and I want to find the hot bats inside that offense. How do I do it? Well, I take this trending WOBA, and I'm going to knock off all of the duds. Okay? I go into the number filters, go to greater than, and I punch in a number like, say, 350. And 350 is okay. I'd prefer to stick over 375, 400, but on a 4-game slate, sometimes I don't get enough options to do that. So I'll loosen the parameters a little bit, if you will. And then I'm going to jump in. Where did I say first? Oakland? There's your playables: Chris Davis, Stephen Piscotty, Chapman, Simeon, Lucroy, Olson, Martini if he draws to start. So what I'm looking for, though, I'm going to say Piscotty's okay. Simeon is marginally playable, and the others are all fine. Okay? So these are the players that I would be focused on tonight. When I go to Texas, same thing. I'm looking for the players that I really want to play. I'd like to play Joey Gallo. I'd like to play Elvis Andrus. I'd like to play Rougned Odor. Those are the 3 I'd focus on. Maybe a little bit of Ryan Rua if he draws a start. Profar at 392 is pretty good. I should be considering that. And I'm looking at Robinson Chirinos. If he starts, marginally startable. It's all right. Not going to worry too much about it. Go to LA. Trout, Upton, Ohtani, Calhoun, Kinsler, Fletcher. Keep Kinsler in your back of your mind for the tip at the end of Chop Talk here, because I got a tip for you that I want to show you, or at least explain to you. But those are your playables there. When I run into Houston, Bregman, Reddick, Springer, Gonzalez, and Kemp. Those are your playables. I want to show you something about Bregman. Bregman's been hot. His salary's all the way up to $4,700. Everybody thinks he hung the moon. Great. But his season average, season WOBA is at 370. He jumped up to 436 over the last 2 weeks. Now he's down to a 366. He's even under his season average. Guess what Bregman is right now? Overpriced. His price lags his production. His production starts going like this, and then all of a sudden here comes his, price with it. And then when his production starts to flatten out or tail off, his price keeps going and then starts to come back down with it. So when you can catch that curve, when his production starts to level off and drop, to get off the dude. They're overpriced. Save your money. DFS is about value. It's about finding value. Now, if Bregman hits a home run tonight, great. Those that don't see this trend right here are going to get rewarded if it's a home run. But I know that if this scenario plays out over 100 or 1,000 times, I'm right. It's time to get off the Bregman train. Instead, you might want to get on the Reddick train from a 350 to a 330, but now all of a sudden spiked to a 434. Reddick is still ascending. His price has not caught him yet. Reddick is a value right now. Not a real cheap one, but he's still a value. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. That's just basic DFS 101. What I was going to tell you, other than Bregman being overpriced and some of the weather in Coors, that's another thing that I will look at. Again, remember the weather as it increases throughout the day, we worry about it. Well, this isn't such a worry because it's only 30-35%. But we come down here and we see the 12% spike to 70, 70, 75. This is a problem right in the heart of your game. That is a big problem for your arms, for your pitchers, getting deep into that game. If that rain shows up a little bit early, all right, you're in a lot of trouble. The other thing I would tell you is it's a little bit spooky for the bats, and here's the reason why. The summer weather patterns out in Colorado are a little bit different than in a lot of other places around the nation. Around the nation, typically storms, in the summertime they pop up. We all know that. They usually have a cold front associated with them or something blowing them from west to east or south to north or whatever. And the issue is they don't stick around too terribly long unless there's big waves of rain, great big storms, big rain shields behind them. They don't stick around too terribly long. Little summertime pop-up thunderstorms tend to drift in and drift out. In Colorado, they don't get that wind current in the summertime like this. They blow up and they tend to just spark it. And when that happens over the stadium, it's a problem out in Colorado. So this is a little bit more risky. We're in the meat of the summertime, July, August, a little bit early September. That's the pattern for Colorado. People living in Denver will tell you the same thing. Those storms pop up and they don't tend to move, and that can wipe out a game. Maybe not always, but it's something to consider, especially being that a lot of people on a 4-game slate are going to want big pieces of this game. But do you really want to tackle Charlie Morton? Do you really want to tackle John Gray? I don't. I said Houston was a team that we could look at, and if I look at Colorado, they're a team we could look at, but they're facing competent pitching. I know it's Coors, and the game it's not going to go 18-14 tonight. It might go 8-6, and that'd be great, but it might also go 4-3, 6-4. And if the Texas-Oakland game goes 9-10 again or something like that, you're better off there, especially considering the weather and considering people are going to want to jump on Coors. Just another little tip for you. The biggest tip of the day, though, today that I wanted to show you is I want to clear this filter out, and I want to go to LA. I want to go to LA, and I want to show you that with all of this going on, oh, come on, don't stick it to me. Yeah, I jumped the gun, stupid thing stuck it to me, so I'm going to have to go back in and reset this. But while we're doing, what I want to explain to you is you understand batting orders, right? You understand how the batting order, the higher up in the batting order, the more likely you are to get that 4th, 5th, 6th at bat in a game, right? And so that gives you more chances, more opportunity in DFS to score runs, to deliver hits, to hit for, doubles or luck into a home run or something. Okay, we understand it. You understand that there are 9 batting, orders in the batting spot, 9 spots in a batting order. So 9 divided by 1, each spot you move up gives you an 11% chance it increases at an extra at bat. If I move from the 5 hole to the 4 hole, I've got an 11% chance at an extra at bat. If I move from the 9 hole to the 6 hole, I've got a 33% chance at an extra at bat. That's just math, right? You always hear people talking about cash gamers and taking, batting order positions 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, sometimes 5, but generally staying in the top. Well, is that always advantageous to you? I'm going to tell you no. I'm going to buck the trend, and I'm going to tell you I'm going to go against convention and tell you no. That's not the most important thing you should be looking at. We have access to better numbers these days. You should be looking at hot batters versus cold batters. And here's how I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to go to LA. I'm going to use, I need to get into my trends tab. My bad. And I'm going to go into the LA offense. And what I'm going to do is while that calls up, I'm going to show you in their projected lineup, Andrelton Simmons is second, right? And that's great. That's what we're looking for in cash games, right? Let's look at Ian Kinsler with him. 3,300, 2,800, not a huge difference in price. In fact, Kinsler's more expensive. So when I cut those down and I go over here to the last, say, 7 days, which is what I'm looking for, hot batters versus cold batters. Because what good's it do me if the guy in the 2 hole's 0 for 14, but the guy in the 7 hole is, 5 for 8? I'd rather have the 7 hole guy, even with a little bit fewer at bats. Am I right? That's what you need to be focusing on. So when I come down to Andrelton Simmons, I see he's a 1.60 over the last 7 days. Ice ass cold in that 2 hole. 330 on the season, down on 14 days, down on. He ain't coming back for a while. He was hot for a long time, but he ain't coming back for a while. What do you need a 2 hole hitter for? A lot of people are going to opt for, ooh, I prefer that in the 2 hole. Wrong. Not with that guy, you don't. Ian Kinsler in the 7 hole is a 306 batting, hitting 403 the last 2 weeks, hitting 490. Would you rather have the 490 Woba or the 160? Do you care if it's in the 2 hole or the 7 hole? This guy's doing damage. Just get him 3 or 4 at bats, and he's going to probably do something. You could get Ian Kinsler, 10 at bats, and it looks like he's only going to get you, 1 or 2 productive at bats right now. I mean, Simmons. Use your heads when you're analyzing this information. There's a lot of rules out there. There's a lot of old school advice. And it's all great. It's how you build your foundation. It's how you become a solid player. But the game is evolving. We're learning more. We've got better numbers. We've got better tools. We've got better access to coaches that are thinking ahead of the curve. And that's what you need to become a better player. So once again, I'm going to tell you, tips like this, processes like this, they're making people better players. And we do it inside DFSArmy.com every day. You need to become a VIP. You need to use the coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P. You need to follow the link in the description of the video. You need to become a VIP before prices go up. It's just that simple. We have produced $10, $20, $50,000 baseball winners this year. Could be you. We've produced people that are grinding up bankrolls now of, a couple $100. That could be you too. I don't know what type of player you are. I'd love to find out. You need to contact me, either DM me through Twitter, join Slack, DM me through there, jump in my coaching room. Let's talk. Let's fix your game. Let's get you fundamentally sound. Let's teach you where to look, where to spend your time looking, and let's dive in and make you a better player right now. Don't wait. Do it now. This is Chop-A-Dong. This has been Chop Talk. I will catch you on the flip-flop, and we will see you tomorrow.